There are games that surprise you, there are games that completely absorb you, and then there are games that are born from a single crazy idea and suddenly the whole internet is talking about them. And that's exactly how Palworld came to be. When Palworld first appeared, most people thought it was a joke. A combination of cute creatures that look like Pokémon and a survival game where you build, craft, and fight. That alone sounded strange. But then came the moment when people realized that you could not only catch these creatures, but also force them to work, fight, and in some cases, do things with them that you would never expect from a game like this. And it's exactly this contrast that is the reason why Palworld exploded in popularity. At first glance, it looks like a cute game, a colorful world, simple design, a friendly environment. But the longer you play, the more you realize that beneath this surface, there's something completely different. Palworld isn't just a game about catching creatures. It's a game about exploiting the system. When you start the game, you begin just like in other survival games. You have nothing. You have to gather materials, craft tools, and build a base. But very quickly, the main mechanic appears, one that changes everything. Pals, your companions. At first you catch them, later you use them. And this is exactly the moment when the game starts to set itself apart. In most games that use a similar system, the creatures are more like partners. They help you fight by your side, but they also have a certain value on their own. In Palworld, this relationship shifts. Pals aren't just companions, they're a resource. You can use them for work, you can use them for crafting, you can use them for fighting, you can use them for almost anything. And this is where that strange feeling begins, because the game doesn't make you think of them as beings. It makes you think of them as tools. And that's something that's not entirely common. The contrast between the cute appearance and the way the game works creates a very specific atmosphere. On one hand you're having fun, but on the other you realize that what you're doing is actually quite dark. But this is exactly the reason why Palworld works, because it's unpredictable. When you start playing you think you know what you're gonna get, but gradually you find out that it's something different. And that's a powerful moment. Another important thing is the combination of systems. Palworld isn't just about one mechanic. It's a mix of several genres: survival, crafting, building, creature catching, automation. Each of these systems could work on its own, but when you combine them, you get something that can keep players engaged for a long time. But first you're just surviving, then you start building, then you begin to optimize, and then you focus on efficiency. And suddenly, a simple game turns into a complex system. But just like with other games of this type, the question remains, is it worth it in 2026? Because hype is one thing, reality is another. Palworld had a huge launch, huge numbers, huge interest. But the question is whether it managed to keep that attention. And the answer is partly yes. The game still has a community, it's still being played, it still offers fun. But at the same time, its weaknesses have also become apparent. One of them is repetitiveness. After a certain amount of time, you start doing the same things. You collect, you build, you optimize. And if you don't enjoy this loop, the game stops holding your attention. Another thing is depth. Palworld has a lot of systems, but not all of them are deep enough. That means the game feels big, but not always complex. And that's the difference. A lot of content doesn't mean deep content. Another thing is long-term motivation. Why should you keep playing? This is a question every player has to answer for themselves. Some people enjoy building, some like optimizing, and some like catching all the pals. But if none of these things keep you engaged, the game will let you go. And that's important. Palworld isn't a game that forces you to stay. But at the same time, it's not a game that will completely disappoint you. It's a game that offers a strong start. And then it's up to you how long you stay with it. Another important factor is style. Palworld has a very specific visual identity. Cute characters, a colorful world, simple design. That means the game is accessible, easy to understand, and easy to follow. And that's important from a YouTube perspective as well, because games that are visually readable have a better chance of success. But that's not enough. What really matters is the experience. And Palworld delivers an experience. It may not be perfect, it may not be the deepest, but it is different. And sometimes being different is enough. So, is Palworld worth it in 2026? Yes, but not as your main long-term game. It's worth it for the experience. As something you try out, something that surprises you, something that offers you what you can't find elsewhere. It's not worth it if you're looking for a deep long-term system that will keep you engaged for hundreds of hours. But it's worth it if you want something new, because Palworld isn't a game that will change you. But it's a game that makes you pause for a moment and shows you how unusual game design can be. And maybe that's exactly why it still makes sense in 2026. Not as a perfect game, but as a unique experiment. And sometimes it's these experiments that are the most interesting